Hi, YouTube. Hi, YouTubers. Hi, all my viewers. Welcome back. This is Erica from In the Company of Cards. Um, just wanted to look at a few things, but before I do that, I just wanted to thank you for all of the really lovely comments that I got on my video yesterday. I really appreciate it. Many of you said I moved you to tears. Many of you moved me to tears with your messages and your stories. I will say, because in every bunch there's one. I did get rid of someone yesterday, just one, and maybe I shouldn't have because what they said. I mean, it was. I will put it this way: our politics did not coalesce, and that's fine. That was not the issue. But they referenced their leader, who they said was now my leader, and they called me a name. And the name is so cute. I'm like, I think it's supposed to be an insult. I'm going to take it as an insult. But meanwhile, oh my gosh, you're so adorable. They called me a lefty spongehead. Spongehead. Anyway, I just thought their time would probably be better served in that really admirable pastime they have of coming up with names for people. And I didn't want to disrupt them by, or, cut into their time by having anything that I would broadcast distract them. So they're not here anymore. But I thought it was really cute. And anyway, overwhelmingly from around the world, old people, young people, men, women, uh, all had just beautiful, poignant comments that made me know once again what I always know, which is what a worthwhile venture this has been for me and for us, I hope. So there are one, two, three, four things that I'd like to look at today. This won't be a long video, I don't think. They are in no order. Um, but, so anyway, we're back to business as usual, and let's go. So oh yeah, like, share, subscribe. I know I'm supposed to say all of that. The first thing I want to look at might seem minor, but is anything minor in these interesting times? I think not. I want to look at the Musk, we'll call it the Roman salute. I could call it the Nazi salute, but I'm going to call it the Roman salute. And I would like to know what was Musk's intention in giving that particular salute. Of course, it's caused this whole firestorm of controversy. You're not allowed to do it in Germany, but we're not in Germany, are we? We're in the United States. He says that, it's just people are just, that old line about it, a Nazi salute. He's essentially saying it's much ado about nothing. Um, it could have been because, again, he has that energy of just juvenile impetuosity, right? But I mean, I think that there are probably lots of impetuous juveniles whose first instinct would not have been to throw up a hand in the Roman salute. So, did he do it because he thought it would create a stir? And now he's backing away from it, saying, "Oh, guys, you're making up things," or not. I thought that the Anti-Defamation League had a very interesting response. They said, "Oh, that was nothing. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill." You know what? Mountains begin with molehills. I'm just saying. So let's look at what Musk's intention was in throwing up the salute. I am going to use that young man card for him. And before you tell me that he's not young, I know he's not young. But again, his immaturity. Um, you know what I'll do? No, I was going to use the child card, but I'm not. He's a grown man, but he's got this arrested development, this idea that the world is his and he can do whatever he wants. So I'm going to use the young man and let's see what we get. Why did he throw up the Roman salute? So we're looking for the young man. That will stand for Musk, and we are looking at his intention in having thrown up the Roman salute, mind you, not once, but twice. So, you know, we have the scythe, we have the older woman, we have Musk, we have the fox, and we have the birds. So I know why he did it. Let me break it down for you. I don't even need to draw clarifiers. This was a conscious decision. The scythe is the card for a decision. It was a conscious decision meant to create a stir, buzz, talk. He knew exactly what he was doing. Now, he's in the middle, right? But the cards that flank him are the woman and the fox. So I can explain this. He thinks he's slick. He thinks he's slick a lot, and a lot of times he's really not that slick. But anyway, he thinks he's slick because he did what he did. It absolutely was conscious and purposeful and intended. The scythe tells us that. But he throws his hands up in that yin way. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Why are you making such a, mountain out of a molehill? He's claiming innocence. He's claiming that it was an innocent, exuberant gesture. And he thinks that he's clever when he does that. It just, he's just a stir up of poo, we'll call it, is what he is. Um, and he knows that different people will take that salute different ways, right? People who are offended by it will be offended by it. People who take it as, I don't know, a call to arms will take it as a call to arms. And he's just going to stand back and watch everybody, get into the scrum. Okay, anyway, enough about him. The next question that I want to look at is a two-part question. Well, there's two questions. They're both to do with Canada. So the first question has to come first, which is, so the backstory. The backstory is that uh, Justin Trudeau, who has stepped down as the prime minister, uh, what's the word? Prorogated parliament. Now, prorogation of parliament means that parliament is, I'm just going to say, suspended. It's not disbanded, but it's kind of put on ice, we'll call it. And he said he was doing that so that the dust could settle and the Liberal Party, of which he is a member, can decide who their candidate is that they're going to put forward and all of that. Well, a lawsuit was filed, and the grounds of the lawsuit were that the prorogation, you know what I mean, the sort of suspension of Parliament was illegal. And the lawsuit said, and you know what? You need to sort of unsuspend Parliament to sweet, like right away, because, and then they gave a reason in the lawsuit. And the lawsuit's reason was 47, that's what I'll call him from now on. I'm not going to attach any kind of dumb other name to him. 47 uh, has threatened a 25% tariff against Canada. And if Canada's parliament is suspended or prorogated, um, they can't respond and they can't construct a response, right? So the lawsuit said Parliament needs to be back in session ASAP, and this judgment that that's the case, that Trudeau did something illegal and that should be ended, should be decided quickly. Well, the the um, the High Court, I guess it's the High Court, federal court, same thing. The federal court said, yeah, we need to look at this fast. They didn't make a decision, but they said we're going to decide it, and they're going to decide, discuss it, and decide on the 13th and 14th of February. Now, according to the prorogation suspension, um, this suspension was supposed to last until March 24th, at which point there would have been, I guess, people would stand for election for a prime minister. But the lawsuit says, no, we cannot wait till anybody's March 24th, because who knows what 47 is going to do, and who knows how that will affect our economy. And Canada's economy is already going through some changes. So the court has agreed to look at the case, to hear the case and discuss the case February 13th and 14th. So the very first thing that we want to know is, what will the court decide, right? Will they decide that what Justin Trudeau did was out of order? And will they demand that Parliament return immediately to work? So let's see. And I think I'm going to use the tower. That will stand for the federal court and their decision. Okay. So remember, we're looking for the tower. Okay. So this is the federal court and their decision making around whether Justin Trudeau's order to sort of suspend Parliament until March 24th was legal or not. So that's the tower. And let me just say further that, I mean, there could be lots of people, and there could be people on both sides, right? The liberal and the conservative side, who say, wait a minute, yeah, no, we can't be suspended now. What are you doing? But it's also true that an early election, earlier than the 24th, would serve the conservatives. Poilievre. Remember that Poilievre is uh, a Trump fan. So, okay, we have the birds, we have the whip, this is the federal court, this is the star, and this is the bear. I think that they will argue, or they will find, I think there will be a lot of arguing. This is the talking back and forth, the discussion. It will be heated. It will be heated. Um, and I think that they will say, moving forward, that the court will say that um, this was a strong arm move by Trudeau, that he overstepped his authority, that he should not have suspended, Parliament. And I think I'm going to draw some clarifiers on this card, This is the card for someone who is overbearing, overreaching, assuming that they can do whatever they want to do. Of course, that's the argument, right, that's being made. So let's just pull some clarifiers on that bear. I think I'm going to pull some clarifiers on the tower and on the stars. Okay, so when I look at those original five cards, especially with that bear at the end, it makes me think that they're going to say, yeah, Trudeau overstepped. But when I look at the clarifiers, we have the tower, we have the lily, we have the stork, and we have the crossroads. So, nobody wants Canada, Canadians certainly don't want Canada to be um, fighting a civil war, bad enough that we're fighting one to the south of them, right? So, the court is going to want to come up with a solution that will sort of improve the situation, make for a peaceful resolution. But I think that that decision is going to be different from the one that Trudeau came up with, because Crossroads is about going a different way. Okay, then we have the star. So what's going to happen in the future around this? We have the rider, the mountain, and the child. I think that this is the future. What are they going to do? Um, they're going to send a message that they are stopping Trudeau's order, and and things will be moved forward so that that suspension, so to speak, will end up having been shorter than it originally was. Remember, I mean, they're going to debate this and decide this, at least debate it anyway, the 13th and 14th. So Trudeau's order will have been in place from when he issued it until that date, at least. But whether it will be shortened, in other words, Parliament looks like they will go back to work sooner than the March 24th deadline that Trudeau had set. So here is this bear, doing what he wanted to do for, I would say, the benefit of his own Liberal Party, being outsmarted and outflanked by Poilievre, who, of course, wants elections yesterday. Now, um, they are each committed to their side. And, you know, the tree is the card for health. And I think we're talking about the health of the government. They're both committed to what they believe is the health of the Canadian government, the Canadian economy. Both sides are committed to that, but they come at it in very different ways. And it looks like Trudeau gets outflanked by Poilievre, who is the fox. Now, given that, the question that I'm going to look at next is all the more important. So, I had one viewer who said to me, because the last time I looked at this, I looked at which side I thought would win, whether it would be the conservatives or the liberals. And I had a viewer say, there are more parties than just the conservatives and the liberals. And I said, oh, okay. Thank you. I stand corrected. And I do. But then I had another viewer who said, can you look at whether it will be Poilievre or whether it will be Chrystia Freeland for the Liberals who wins the premiership? And I said to that viewer, well, somebody else said that there could be more candidates in the mix and that I should look at that. And this viewer said, yeah, no. The two main ones are the ones you think. Poilievre for the Conservatives and Freeland for the Liberals. So, because I am not privy to all of the ins and outs of all of the parties of Canada. And if you think I should make myself privy to that, let me know and I will do my best. But for now, because, I think things will move fairly quickly, I'm just going to look at things right now. And I'm going to pull three cards for Chrystia Freeland and three cards for Pierre Poilievre, and we'll see who looks like they've got the better cards. The world is going more to the right, um, but it's also true that 47's, sort of saber rattling at our neighbor to the north, Canada, in ways that are just ugly, and that could affect how people in Canada decide to think about 47. It'll help them decide whether they want to be admirers of 47 the way Poilievre is or not, as Freeland is not. So let's see. Okay, so cards are shuffled, and I'm going to just, oops, pull three cards for Chrystia Freeland and three cards for Pierre Poilievre. Now remember, cards show us the energy in the moment, which is to say, this is what it would look like if the election were held right now. But the election is not going to be held right now, right? I mean, the earliest would be sometime in the middle of February, I would think. But let's see, let's look at this energy and see. So this is Chrystia Freeland. We have the ship, the heart, and the woman. That looks very positive for her. Well, yeah, we have the fox, the child, and the mice. Those cards are not positive, but I will say that they also speak to the potential for mm, uh, dishonest brokering, entertainment purposes only, YouTube. Uh, I mean, is Poilievre going to invite Elon Musk, he of the voting machine fixing, down up for a visit, a consult? These cards don't feel good to me. Um, at the very least, they say that Poilievre actually is at a disadvantage in a way that he was not before. The last time I looked at it, I remember saying that if the election were held today, and this was a couple of weeks ago, Poilievre would win. I don't know that that's the case anymore. I think Chrystia Freeland has a better chance. So that's my answer. I think Chrystia Freeland, if the election were held today, she would win. I certainly will look at this again. Once I'll look at it in February. How about that? Once the federal court has made its decision about Trudeau's not disbanding, but suspension sort of Parliament, I will, once that decision's been made, then I will look again. But I think right now, and it's like that, it's like the scales card, right? Back and forth, tipping back and forth. But right now, I think that Chrystia Freeland has the edge. Okay. Uh, the last thing I want to look at is something I'm a little bit nervous to look at, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, as you learned yesterday, I was born in Chicago. I have a lot of relatives in Chicago. My parents, my mother was from there. My father went there for college. I don't think my father saw anything black except maybe a cow or a horse. before he went away to college in the big city. So it's all the more special that he turned out to be such a warrior for justice and civil rights. It makes me hold white people to a very high standard because I know what is possible if one chooses to be woke. I don't think that word is a pejorative. Um, Awake to see what's around and to make decisions from a good place, the way that my father did. But at any rate, Chicago holds a warm spot in my heart, cold as the weather may be. And one of 45's first acts, apparently, is to, although I've heard that it might be suspended, but suspended doesn't mean um, called off altogether. But that is going to be his first port of call for these immigration raids. I heard that he's ordered 200 officers, immigration people, to go there, and they will be doing raids, immigration raids. First of all, let me just say, Chicago's kind of a big city. I don't know what 200 people are going to do, but okay, all right. Um, I would like to know uh, how that will go. I think Chicago's a city, and I think I'm going to use the garden because it's a big space out there. And I'm going to use the garden as the focus card. And I would like to know how um, what will unfold in this proposed, purported series of raids. Now, remember that Chicago is one of the amnesty cities. One of the is it what's the word? Not amnesty. Well, it gives safe harbor uh, to immigrants who are undocumented. So, that's why he's not starting in, I don't know, Texas or North Dakota. He's trying to make 47 is trying to make a statement. I will strong arm you. Um, Chicago, LA, New York. Although it looks like New York won't need strong arming because Eric Adams has bent the knee and kissed the ring. Um, so that'll be, I mean, that's my other home is New York, Chicago, New York, and now San Diego. So I'm sure San Diego as well. Um, and what is it called? I don't know, but you know what I mean. The cities that are not are safe harbors for undocumented. So what will happen in Chicago? And we'll have the garden stand for Chicago. I'm really nervous. I don't usually stall this long to answer a question, but let's see. Okay. And I take my human ego out of the question as soon as I put the cards on the table. Start to read. So my nervousness is now for the moment gone, and I will just look at the question and see what the cards give us. Okay. So this stands for Chicago. And I'm going to pull some clarifiers. I'm ending up pulling more than I thought I would, but what are you going to do? All right. So the original cards that I get are Clover, the Tower, the Garden, the Clouds, and the Stars. Okay, so I'm going to put them down and then pick them up one by one. And this line of cards, think of it as like the précis or the kind of the Cliff Notes version of what we'll see in the full reading. So clearly, 47 wants this to happen quick, fast, and in a hurry. Somebody asked me the other day, I don't understand how you use this Clover card, what the Clover card means. And here in this case, it's not about luck, it's about speed. Okay. And this stands for the government of 47. This stands for the city of Chicago. Now we have clouds and star. I will say that with I can mirror Clover, which is this fast, fast, fast. He wants these raids done fast to send a message to other safe harbor cities moving forward into the future. However, um, he says these pronouncements, right? But the government is like, the organ of the government. In other words, the people who actually would carry out these raids are saying, okay, wait, how are we supposed to do this? Because what is the directive? I mean, we know that the directive is go in there and do those raids, but what are the mechanics of this? What are the specifics? What's the fine print? Because remember, 47 is not good on fine print. Mind you, not that they haven't been planning this for a while, because they have. Stephen Miller has this as, top of list. That's that dead-eyed guy that looks like a Nazi. Entertainment purposes only. Nevertheless, Chicago's like, wait, how are you going to do this? And the federal government, how is this going to run? Okay, so that's the overview. Now we go back to the clover, and I drew clarifiers, right, for this action. 47, the moon, and the whip. This is all about what I just said. Doing this quickly, even just the announcement of it, doing it fast. He's doing it to burnish his image as, what? An overseer with a whip, right? It's a power move, it's a narcissistic move, it's an aggressive, assertive, hostile move against Chicago. Okay, so there's that. This stands for his government. And they're like, again, wait, how are we supposed to do this? Remember, oops, dropped a card. This is yin energy. Like, what are the mechanics? What's the protocol? How are we supposed to do this? But this is the enforcers. This is friends of 47. This is the police. This is whatever military, paramilitary force, they will be key to enforcing this, but they don't know yet how they're going to do it. Okay, here's Chicago, and we have the lily, the book, and the stork. Well, these are really mostly very positive cards. So this is Chicago, and the government there wanting to keep the peace and saying, listen, 47 and company, they can't enforce this. They don't know how they're going to do this. So things are going to be okay. Things are going to get better. This ruling of 45, this decree, this fiat, will be kicked upstairs and then gotten rid of. Things will be okay. That's the center line. Again, because nobody knows who's on first. Where's the money supposed to come from to do this? I think it will get mired down and that it will become this yin energy. Like the most that he will do will be talk big because this cannot be enforced in any kind of grand draconian sweeping way that he wants it to go. So here we have the future stars, child, bouquet, and then the ship. I think that moving forward, the future, there will be some, sorry, small scale effort to give 47 what he wants to move forward with his plan. So there will be some sort of, token roundup made, but it will not in any point be on the scale that he wants it to be. It can't be, it won't be. If nothing else, the logistics of it will not work. And he doesn't, he may very well want the National Guard to come out and shoot people in the legs who harbor immigrants, but that's not going to happen. But there will be some saber rattling, some people who could get rounded up for show, but it will not be a, a bloodbath in Chicago, I don't think, yet. He's named the date as tomorrow, for the next few days. I don't think anything will transpire of note in those days, but that's not to say that once they all realize, oh, wait, we don't have the details really worked out as well as we should. That's not to say that he won't try again in a bigger way, in a harsher way down the road. For now, that first vertical line told me this is just him going, me Tarzan, Chicago, you're Jane. That's basically what it is. It's you know, it's one of his power blowhard moves. Um, I think that people should be careful in Chicago. Um, if you are helping and harboring a population good, and just, have your plans made so that you can keep harboring them. But he will not be able to do the large scale thing that he is selling a wolf ticket about doing. I don't know if you know that expression. To sell a wolf ticket means to make a threat. The thing about a wolf ticket is you can't back it up. And I don't think he can back up what he's saying he wants to do in Chicago yet, anyway. I know that that's cold comfort, and I'm sorry about that, but that's what I think. Just want to mention again, speaking of cold comfort, that I do think that Seth Hegseth Hegseth will get through as the Secretary of the Army, head of the Army. I think he will get through. He'll be rammed through. Uh, Let me look at Tulsi Gabbard one more time. She's got that gray in her hair, right? So we're going to let her be the older woman. And there are a lot of apparently discrepancies that have come out in her around her dealings with Assad of Syria. Lots of discrepancies about how long the meetings were, how many meetings were there, what they discussed, why they were discussing anything in the first place. She's supposed to be the head of what, national security, and she's shady like that. I don't know, but I will say that the House is now down another Republican member, which is very good news. One of the Republican guys who, had a seat in the House has now been moved up in the administration. He's got a job at the White House. And that means now that Mike Johnson is really between a rock and a hard place because they cannot afford to lose a single Republican vote ever. Because, now for us, of course, best case scenario, what does that mean? It means stalemate, 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 and things not moving forward. But if the things that could move forward are things in 47's agenda, we don't want those things to move forward. So maybe the stalemate is the best that we can hope for in the moment. But anyway, let me look at Tulsi Gabbard and see how her nomination might go. Uh, I don't think she's on the calendar yet. If she is, it's for not this week, but next week. Um, because again, she still can't get her story straight, apparently. So this will be the last question. We'll look at Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, we have the bear, we have the snake, we have Tulsi Gabbard, we have the scythe, and we have the sun. I'm going to say that this is 47, again, in his narcissistic garb. And this is going to be a problem for him because he really wanted Gabbard. He really wanted her, but she presents too much of a national security problem. There she is. I think that she'll be cut. I think her nomination will be pulled. I also think JFK, RFK Jr.'s nomination will be pulled. I saw that last time. Yeah, I don't think Gabbard's going to make it. I think everybody else will, except for RFK Jr. All right, that's it for today. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of over it all. Normally I listen to the news a lot. I've decided that moving forward, I'm just going to listen to or read particular specific people whom I trust and let the rest just fly over my head because otherwise it's just it's too wearing. So I would advise you as well to sort of be judicious about your intake of news and where you get it from, the amount and the source, um, because otherwise, our heads will blow off. And nobody's got time for that. There's work to do. All right, everybody. Happy Tuesday, and I'll see you soon. Take care.